So the Senate killed a commission that would have investigated what happened on January 6th, really betraying the officers, American heroes who fought to defend the Capitol on that day. One of them joins me now, Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gonell. He is speaking on his own behalf, not representative. He's not speaking as a representative of the police department. And Sergeant, I'm so happy that you're here. America is happy for your America is really grateful, I should say, for your sacrifice in what you do. And we want to hear your story. So as much of it as you can tell us that you're comfortable sharing, we would love to hear it. So again, thank you for appearing, okay?
Thank you for having me.
It takes a lot of courage to come forward and talk about what happened on January 6th. How are you doing?
Some days better than others. Last week was very rough, emotionally, but getting the help that I need. I have a lot of support, peer support, whatnot, and my family, most of all, they have been very understanding of my situation and everything that had happened to me and to the many officers that responded to the insurrection and the people who, you have people that, officers that left in the morning that day and decided on their own to come back to fight off these terrorists and individuals that were there to kill people. They were not there on a tour as a lot of people are, anyone that keeps saying that it was a regular tour. This was not a concert that you come and do whatever, break, threats, people or whatnot, and then go home as if nothing happened. People got hurt, people got injured. I got hurt, I got injured. Threats were made against the officers, against their family, against the members, against the president, against the against the vice president, and against the speaker. And for them to whitewash this, like I'm making it up, like somebody told me that, oh, this is why Black Lives Matters or Antifa. There was no Antifa there. All the people, the sea of people that was there, they were saying, President Trump sent me here. He's our president. He sent us here, and we won't listen to anything that you say that day.
Did you? So earlier, I don't mean to interrupt. A couple things. So were you always this serious before the insurrection?
What do you mean, like in my personality?
Your person. It looks like this. There's a weight that.
Most of the time, I am in my character. I don't mean to come out that way, but I am fun. I with certain people, not with everybody, but I do take my job seriously.
No, it's okay. It's not. Listen, it's not a judgment. It's just an observation. And considering what you've gone through, anyone would certainly understand that there is a serious aspect to your existence, to your experience.
It's just that I don't like when people try to take advantage of other people. We are not a pawn. We have family. We have kids. We have loved ones that are waiting for us to go back home at the end of the day. And when the moment and the thing that got me to come forward, it was seeing Officer Signey family right next to Officer Manone and Don Harry the other day, which to me, I didn't realize that he's been standing alone for a long time on this issue, and I was focused on my recovery, whatnot. But the moment that got me was when I saw his family, Officer Signey family. My condolence to his family, whatnot. I'm sorry I was not able to attend his funeral service, whatnot. I was focused on my recovery. But when I saw his family, I saw my family, my wife, my mom, right next to it, for them to pretty much pleading them and begging them to do the right thing, to have the courage to do that. I raised my hand 3 times already to defend the Constitution of this country, the United States, and I was not even born here. And for them to not have the courage to not do the right thing, to not to put their lives on the line like we did that day, we did that. I sweat, I blood, I bleeded my blood here in country and overseas.
Let me tell people about your journey, because you served this country as a soldier in Iraq. You swore an oath to protect the country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And correct. Now you have, you have Republican lawmakers refusing to investigate what happened. Is that, do you feel betrayed, or is it a slap in the face? How do you feel about that? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I feel insulted. I feel like they don't have the courage. They demand something from us that they're not willing to do, which is sacrifice their livelihood, to sacrifice. I mean anyone who says that this didn't happen, and I'm taking sides on whether Republican, Democrat, or Independent. When I'm saying whoever is opposite about the investigation wouldn't, if I go to your house and bring a whole bunch of people, or tell a whole bunch of people to, hey, let's go to Lemon's house and break everything and threat your wife, threat your kids, threat whatever, whoever is there, and then leave everything damaged, whatnot. Wouldn't you want to know who did this and who coordinated this?
And why?
Because that's exactly the same thing that happened in our capital. I work there. I take that as a job very seriously. And even though there are things that I don't agree in terms of policies or political stands, I'm not interested in that. When we respond to a call, we don't ask the person who needs help, hey, are you Republican, Democrat, or Independent? We just respond and do a job to the best we can with the tools we have. So when people deny that this happened, it's insulting. It's a betrayal. You got the people calling me from overseas, my friends and family, responded to asking me whether I was okay, or what was happening in the Capitol. They were more concerned, I think, than the president himself that day.